Welcome to Fireside Chat. My name is Sai. In this 4-part video series, I've talked about how to save for your emergency fund, how to pay off your debt quickly, and how to build your retirement portfolio from scratch starting in 2022. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to create an effective budget to achieve financial independence and then retire early from the 9-to-5 workforce. The pay yourself first budget strategy is what I have been using ever since I paid off my debt in 2016. It is the budget strategy many FIRE people use to prioritize their savings over expenses. This strategy requires you to have low expenses to achieve at least 50% savings rate. The common misconception is that having a budget restricts you from doing things that you want to do. That is simply not true. Creating a budget gives you permission to spend money. It gives you the ability to plan ahead and pay for something with no guilt. My wife and I are on the FIRE journey so we can buy our time back to do things that we truly enjoy doing. We're not focusing so much on the retiring early part of the journey, but we're definitely focusing on the financial independence of the FIRE movement. Leave me in the comment section below what you're passionate about and what you want to do when you achieve financial independence. So let's talk about the pay yourself first budget strategy. I would recommend you use this strategy if you're completely out of the bad debt like credit cards, auto loans, or student loans. I think this is the most effective strategy if you're looking to achieve financial independence. This is also assuming that you have a fully funded emergency fund like I talked about in the first video. You should have enough cash set aside to pay for your deductibles in case of a medical emergency or a car accident. You should also have at least 3 to 6 months expenses saved in case you lose your job. Now let me show you how I created my budget. Step 1 is to know your annual gross income and take-home income. You should also know how frequently you get paid, and that could be weekly, bi-weekly, on the 1st and the 15th, or monthly. If you have irregular income, I plan to make a video about it in the near future, so make sure you subscribe to my channel. So gross income is the earnings you get before taxes and deductions. Your take-home income is the paychecks that you get after taxes and deductions. If you don't know what your gross income is, make sure you check your pay stubs from your employer. For this example, let's say your gross income is $120,000 a year and you make $96,000 a year in take-home income after taxes and deductions. Your monthly gross income will be $10,000 a month or $8,000 a month for your take-home income. Step 2 is to save and invest your money for retirement or to your non-retirement accounts. Your goal is to save at least 50% of your gross income, so it will be $60,000 a year. You're probably thinking,
holy crap, that's a lot.
So don't freak out yet, just hear me out. Before you get to the 50% savings rate, you should take a look at your current savings and investment to see how much you're putting away each month. Let me give you a scenario for someone who is single and under the age 50. Your employer retirement plan at $1,708 a month would give you the maximum contribution for the year 2022 at $20,500. This could be your 401k, 403b, 457, or the TSP. Your Roth IRA at $500 a month would give you the maximum contribution at $6,000. Your HSA at $304 a month will give you the maximum contribution at $3,650. So just for your retirement accounts, you could contribute up to $2,512 a month, and that's 21% of your gross income at $120,000 a year. If you're married and both of you are working and together making $120,000 a year, contributing an additional $1,700 a month towards your employer-sponsored retirement plan and an additional $500 a month towards an IRA, and saving extra $304 a month towards your HSA family plan will be a total of $5,024 a month towards retirement, and effectively putting you in the 42% savings rate, assuming you make $120,000 a year. Now let's pause here for a second and think whether you should save 40% of your gross income towards your retirement, making $120,000 a year. I would not recommend that you tie up all of your money into your retirement accounts. If you have other savings goals like saving for a house or large upcoming expenses, you should create separate savings accounts or investment accounts to achieve your savings goals. Here are some additional non-retirement accounts you should consider before you maximize all your retirement accounts. If you have kids, then consider investing into their college fund like the 529 or ESA. You also have the option to invest in their UTMA or UGMA accounts. This is also called investing for your generational wealth. You should also consider opening a taxable brokerage account or a non-retirement account to invest in stocks, mutual funds, bonds, or ETFs. I have 2 taxable brokerage accounts that hold growth stocks, dividend stocks, and ETFs. These accounts are helping us save for real estate properties to diversify our overall investment portfolio if we want to buy cars in the future and anything with large expenses in the future. So bottom line is, be careful tying up all of your savings into retirement without having enough liquidity or cash on the side. You don't want to withdraw early or borrow from your 401k to pay for a rental property or something else, because not only you slow the growth in your 401k investments, but you will have to pay the early withdrawal penalty and taxes. Having taxable brokerage accounts and high yield savings accounts allow you to use them for future real estate investments or any other large expenses exceeding $5,000. By the way, if you need help with your personal finances, you can schedule a free one-on-one 20-minute financial coaching session by visiting firesidechat.com/coaching. Here's the allocation I did when I was making $100,000 a year, and by no means this is financial advice. I managed to save and invest at least $50,000 a year, which is 50% of my gross income. 25% went to my 401k and Roth IRA. I was not eligible for an HSA at the time. 5% went to my daughter's 529 and UTMA accounts. 5% went to my travel fund, and 15% went to my taxable brokerage accounts to invest in stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds. As my income went up over the years, I've been able to save at least 60 to 65% of my gross income. Here's my breakdown. 15% went to my Roth 401k and Roth IRA. The percentage went down because of my higher income, but I still maxed out my contributions to those retirement accounts. My daughter's 529 and UPMA accounts or UTMA accounts remain the same at 5% because she has my GI Bill to pay for her college. I increased my contribution to the travel fund from 5% to 15% because we want to enjoy our lives by traveling the world while we're on the fire journey. I also increased my contributions to the taxable brokerage accounts to grow my individual stock portfolio from 15 to 30%. And just for fun, I started investing about 5% into cryptocurrencies on Coinbase like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA Cardano. This is the money I am okay losing if cryptocurrencies completely lose their value tomorrow. Once you figure out your investment allocations, the next step is to pay for your regular expenses. Here's how my wife and I list our expenses. We have our housing expenses from mortgage, HOA, internet, and utilities. I bought this house back in 2014 with the 30-year fixed mortgage when the Las Vegas housing market was at the dirt bottom. Our housing expenses are at about 20% of our take-home income. We also spend about $600 to $700 a month in groceries each month. We have subscription services like Apple TV, HBO, and Netflix, totaling about $70 a month. We give ourselves about $200 a month for dining out. Our goal is to keep our expenses below 50% of our income, so if we only end up spending 40%, then we'll save the additional 10% to our savings and investment. So at the end of each month, we'll just say on the 31st of January, if we still have money left over, then we'll put the rest into our savings and investment accounts. We make every dollar work for us in our favor. Here are some pros and cons of using the pay yourself first budget strategy. This strategy has helped me focus on the big picture to save for early retirement. Saving $30,000 a year just in retirement with 8% average annual return could potentially turn into $1 million in 15 years. Automatic investments have been extremely easy for me to basically invest and forget for the long term. Another great thing about this strategy is that we get to have a hands-off approach with our budgeting system. We're happy as long as we save and invest half of our gross income. If we have the room to save more, then we'll save more. We're not stressed about taking vacations or buying Christmas presents for our loved ones because we plan ahead. We make sure that we're being intentional with every dollar we spend and save. I strongly encourage you to do the same. The only con that I can think of with this budgeting system is if you have toxic debts like credit cards, auto loans, and student loans. You can give it a shot, but it might be harder for you to achieve the 50% savings rate. First, try to save 50% of your gross income and then use the other 50% to pay for your expenses and pay off your debt. If that's not possible, then reduce your expenses and allocate your income to your debt repayment. If you want to pay off your debt within the year, keep your expenses less than 50% of your take-home income and use the other 50% to aggressively pay off your debt as soon as possible. Second, if you have a 401k employer match with your company, then only contribute up to that amount and then aggressively pay off your debt. So for example, your expenses remain the same at 50% or lower 401k at 6% up to the employer match, and that's just an example. And so you're gonna put the remaining 44% of your income towards your debt repayment. This budget strategy might not work for you at all if you have more debt than your annual income. I will recommend using a zero-based budget strategy, and I will make that video in the future. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video, and don't forget to check out these 2 fire videos and my social media pages. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.